Welcome to Stories by Greg Kerns. Today I'll be reading Calhoun Rising. In this story, we meet Quincy Anderson, a young idealistic accountant who moves to a small southern town to build a new life. But Quincy quickly realizes that progress and acceptance aren't easy to come by in a community bound by tradition and suspicion of outsiders. Faced with resistance, setbacks, and self-doubt, Quincy feels isolated and discouraged. Will he be able to inspire hope and unite the town to overcome its economic and social struggles, or will the weight of prejudice and division cause everything to crumble? We won't know until the end, so sit back and enjoy Calhoun Rising. When Quincy Anderson first stepped off the train in Calhoun, Georgia, he was greeted not with the warm Southern hospitality he had envisioned, but with suspicious stares and awkward silences. The idyllic small-town life he had dreamed of from movies and novels quickly felt more like a scene out of a courtroom drama where he was the unwelcome defendant. His Princeton degree and polished demeanor made him an outsider before he even spoke a word, but it was his northern roots and skin color that many townsfolk couldn't overlook. Monarch Industries, the town's pride and largest employer, was no different. The senior executives had been with the company for decades and saw Quincy's arrival as a threat. In meetings, his ideas were met with polite but firm resistance. "That's not how we do things here," was a phrase he heard often. His direct manager, Harold Lawson, was a self-proclaimed Luddite who viewed technology with suspicion and innovation as an unnecessary gamble. Quincy kept his optimism alive, telling himself that with time and effort, he could prove his worth. But the obstacles weren't just at work. Outside the office, the whispers followed him to the grocery store, church, and even the local diner. Conversations would abruptly stop when he entered a room. Children stared openly, and some parents pulled them closer. When he tried to join a pickup basketball game at the park, he was politely told, "We've already got enough players." For months, Quincy trudged through the days, his idealism wearing thin. Late one night, sitting alone in his small apartment surrounded by boxes he still hadn't unpacked, he called his mother in New Jersey. "Maybe I made a mistake," he admitted, his voice heavy with doubt. "I thought this was going to be my chance to make a difference, but maybe I don't belong here." His mother's voice on the other end was firm yet gentle. "Quincy, change doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen without resistance. You've always been the one to see things through. Give it time, baby." Her words lingered as Quincy returned to work the next day. When he wasn't invited to an important meeting, he barged in anyway, presenting his case for a new software program that could revolutionize the company's outdated financial systems. Harold tried to dismiss him, but the CEO, Richard Dugan, happened to be in the room. Intrigued, Richard allowed Quincy to implement the program as a pilot. The results were undeniable. Within 6 months, Monarch's profits surged, allowing them to lift a decade-long hiring freeze. Quincy became a reluctant star in the company, though his success earned him as many detractors as admirers. Gradually, the town's attitude toward Quincy began to thaw. When Harold begrudgingly invited him to join Monarch's softball team, Quincy seized the opportunity. It was on the softball field that he first met Ashley, the mayor's daughter. Her wide smile and easy laugh stood in stark contrast to the town's usual frostiness. She was fascinated by Quincy's passion and optimism, traits she hadn't seen much of in Calhoun. As their friendship grew, Ashley opened up about her dream of leaving Calhoun. She described the town as a sinking ship weighed down by outdated traditions and narrow-mindedness. "Why would someone like you even want to stay here?" she asked him one evening. Quincy didn't have an easy answer. He admitted he questioned his decision to move, but he still believed in Calhoun's potential. "This town can be better," he said. "It just needs someone willing to fight for it." Inspired by their conversation, Quincy proposed a bold new initiative at Monarch, converting one of the town's shuttered factories into a recycling plant. His plan promised to create hundreds of local jobs while reducing the company's reliance on imported materials. It was ambitious, and for a moment he thought he'd finally won the CEO over. But Richard Dugan chose the safer, more profitable route, sticking with cheaper imports from Vietnam. Quincy's disappointment was palpable, but he didn't give up. He rallied local business owners and community leaders, pitching the idea as a town-wide initiative. Slowly, he began to build a coalition of supporters. Then came the tariffs. The new administration's policies devastated Monarch. Unable to compete, the company was sold to a private equity firm that dismantled it piece by piece. Hundreds of workers were laid off, and Calhoun spiraled into economic despair. Some residents blamed Quincy, accusing him of bringing big city ideas that had cursed the company. Once again, Quincy found himself questioning his place in Calhoun. But this time, instead of retreating, he doubled down. He took a job at the local hardware store, using his position to connect with struggling residents. He partnered with Ashley's father, the mayor, to secure grants for small businesses and launched a mentorship program to train laid-off workers in new skills. Quincy's relentless efforts began to pay off. A few small factories reopened, and local entrepreneurs started to fill the void left by Monarch. Farmers markets and community events brought people together, fostering a sense of resilience and hope. Even his critics began to see him in a new light. Meanwhile, Ashley had moved to Atlanta, chasing her dreams, but life in the big city felt hollow compared to the sense of purpose she'd found working alongside Quincy. On a visit home, she found him repairing a fence at the park where they'd first met. Seeing him there, sleeves rolled up and determination in his eyes, she realized she'd left behind something or someone she couldn't replace. When Ashley returned for good, their partnership, both personal and professional, became a symbol of Calhoun's transformation. Despite lingering prejudice, their interracial relationship stood as a testament to the power of love and unity. By the time the town held its first annual Unity Festival, Quincy had become a local hero. Standing on the stage next to Ashley and the mayor, he looked out at the crowd, farmers, factory workers, business owners, and children all laughing and mingling together. "This town isn't perfect," Quincy said, his voice steady and strong, "but perfection isn't the goal. Progress is. And together, we're proving that no matter where we come from or what we believe, we're all in this together." The crowd erupted into cheers, and for the first time, Quincy felt he truly belonged. Calhoun had changed him, just as he had changed Calhoun, and together they were building something extraordinary. Thank you for listening to Calhoun Rising. In a world where differences often divide us, Quincy's journey reminds us that resilience, empathy, and empathy is not a sign of weakness, and collaboration can pave the way to a brighter future. If you enjoyed this story and want to explore more inspiring tales, visit gregkerns.tv for additional stories and updates. Until next time, this has been Stories by Greg Kerns, where every story brings us a little bit closer to understanding one another.